Effecting Change, how San Diego gun owners has engaged the public to preserve the Second Amendment in California, Michael Schwartz, founder of San Diego County Gun Owners PAC. Michael, welcome. This is Michael's first time appearing at the GRPC. A big welcome, please. Thank you, sir. Timer's on.
Hold on 1 second here. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Michael Schwartz. I'm the executive director for San Diego County Gun Owners, and it's great seeing everybody here.
Michael, hold on 1 second, really quick. We'll be real quick. You get the time back, I promise. So we're going to start over here. I talked to everybody what to do. You know how this works. If you've ever been at a soccer stadium, okay, we'll start over here. Home field advantage, okay?
There it is. Give yourselves a big round of applause for a Second Amendment wave. Thank you so much. So I got to tell you, I wake up every morning and I hope to myself, I say to myself, I hope you do enough today for the Second Amendment. And before I go to sleep at night, I think to myself how much more needs to be done. And I hope that everybody listening to these speeches, attending this event, listening to what I have to say, I hope all of you commit to one thing, and that's doing just a little bit more than you did last year for the Second Amendment. Now, we have heard a lot from influencers and authors and attorneys, and they are fantastic, and they are winning the fight. And I can't be more proud to be at an event with them, and I can't be more supportive of what they do. But in lawsuits, the reality is either you're the plaintiff or you're the attorney, or there really is nothing for you to do other than write a check, which I encourage you all to please do. So the folks who write, the folks who influence, the folks who sue, they're really number in the dozens, maybe the hundreds. But the folks who are left number in the tens of thousands, maybe even the hundreds of thousands. So what do? Well, we saw a hole in the front line and decided, hey, we want to influence politics here locally in San Diego County. And there are only two tools in politics: people and money. It doesn't matter how bad or good your ideas are. If you have a ton of really good ideas and you have no people and no money behind them, nothing happens. If you have a ton of bad ideas and you have a lot of people and money behind them, you're California. We wanted to have an organization that put people into meaningful positions, doing meaningful activism, and gathering people and money to get the right people elected right here locally. And I want to give you a step-by-step example of one of our biggest and best-known accomplishments. San Diego County, it used to be impossible, near impossible, to get a CCW. Out of a county of 3.5 million people, there were only 1,100 carry permits issued. That is nothing. If we just had the regular, normal, average percentage as the rest of the country, with 3.5 million people, we should have 150,000 permits issued. We had 1,100. Years before Bruin, we were able to put enough political pressure on the sheriff to start issuing permits. And when Bruin came out, we already had well over 10,000 CCWs issued, up from 1,100. And I wanted to give you the steps that we took. What exactly did we do to make that happen? Well, in 2015, we launched. And in my first TV interview, I was asked, okay, what's a local Second Amendment issue? You guys are local, you get people elected on local boards and councils, you're pure Second Amendment, you're nonpartisan, you're single issue, what's a local issue? And I started talking about CCWs. In fact, everywhere I went, people would ask me about CCWs. We weren't designed to get carry permits, we were designed to be pro-Second Amendment, but CCWs, your ability to carry and protect yourself outside of your home, stretched across the county. Everybody, every walk of life wanted to know about it. So we spent that was the end of 2015, 9 years ago next month, in fact. We spent the next couple of years gathering people and gathering money. What we didn't do is we didn't rally, protest, or march. The reason we didn't do that is I rarely see that affect public policy. And we wanted to work within the system to affect public policy. So we criticized the sheriff at the time, his policies, and we did it in a very professional, level-headed manner so that people would listen to us and see them in us and relate. Now, at the time, he was being sued in the Peruta case. And in June of 2016, he actually won. And the Ninth Circuit Court said, you don't have a constitutionally protected right to concealed carry outside of the home. So he wasn't compelled to start issuing. In fact, he had a big win under his belt. But in the meantime, what we were doing is we were criticizing him in the media. Every major newspaper in San Diego, every TV station, every radio program, we went on and told our story that, hey, he could issue if he chose to. He is not being blocked by state law. We went to different organizations that normally supported him and said, hey, if you don't agree with his Second Amendment stance, withhold your support, withhold your endorsement. And the only reason they listened to us is because of the way we presented ourselves and because of the relationships we had formed. Everywhere he spoke, we would send people, not to call him a jerk, not to yell at him, but to wait in line and ask a question and say, what's wrong with me? How come I can't defend myself outside of the home? How come you came here with a security guard armed? How come you're carrying a firearm but you don't trust me? At one event, we actually had a single mom holding her baby, saying, how am I supposed to protect myself? You certainly can. How am I supposed to protect myself? And why won't you trust me to do so? And it started to work. After the court case in the year 2017 in the summer, we did one of the most effective things we did in the whole fight. We got the city of Santee to pass a resolution saying, hey, we pay you to be our law enforcement, we disagree with your permit policy. And it passed unanimously. We authored it, we got it passed because of the relationships we'd formed with the government officials, with the city council. We got one of the city council members, Rob McNellis, who was also a board member of San Diego County Gun Owners, to author an op-ed that appeared in the Union Tribune, the local paper, criticizing the sheriff. That's one elected official criticizing another elected official on an extremely important policy like carrying for self-defense. After we passed that resolution, a lot of people said, well, now what? What do we do now? And I said, no, there's 16 city councils. Let's see how many will pass this, and we'll continue to put political pressure on them. Well, he called me the next week and said, okay, let's talk. And we went and talked. I spoke with his staff, I spoke with him, and we figured out a way. Our stance was just put self-defense on the application as your reason to issue. Well, we didn't quite get that, but what we got was about 12 sentences. So we wanted 2 words, we got 12 sentences. So we spent the next years teaching people for free how to formulate those 12 sentences. How to tell the sheriff, this is my reason for carrying. And he said, look, I still got to comply with state law. They need a reason. Let's at least figure out a way that everyone will have a reason. And during that time, I didn't run into a single person who didn't have a reason. So when the Bruin case passed later, nobody could get a permit post-Bruin who couldn't already get a permit pre-Bruin. Now, Bruin was an extremely important decision, and we're so glad it happened. But we're not going to wait around for other people to do things. We want you folks to get involved and do what I believe is truly the American experiment, which is to be the country of the self-governed. Now, 2 years ago, the sheriff stepped down, and there was an election. And for the first time in the history of San Diego, CCWs were truly an issue when it came to the sheriff. They were clamoring, the candidates were clamoring to try to prove that they were more pro-Second Amendment. And I'm very proud to say that San Diego County Gun Owners did a better job of vetting the candidates than any other organization in town, and we uncovered what a horrible candidate the other guy was. And we went out on a limb, and despite the fact that I think it's safe to say that normally the Republican is normally a better friend to us than the Democrat, but because we're nonpartisan, because we're single issue, and because we stick to our principles, we went with the better candidate, the Democrat, and I believe it was our support that got her elected. I could even show you numbers that show that a huge number of people who voted Republican for the first time in their life, many of them voted for the Democrat for sheriff, and she's been wonderful ever since. So when we started this whole thing in 2015, there were 1,100 permits issued total. She is now issuing about 600 per month, and we are over 22,000 CCWs with about 4,900 waiting in line. It doesn't stop there. When SB 2 passed, they tried to wipe out most, if not all, of the CCW instructors by taking away NRA's certification in order to allow them to be a CCW instructor. And she stood up, one of the very few in California, and said, no, the instructors who are certified will continue to be certified until the DOJ gets their act together. I'm not going to cut off CCWs to my constituents. She told the applicants that if you got your application in before January 1st, you don't have to take the 16-hour class, you only take the 8-hour class. And she stood up for you, the San Diego, you, the gun owner, which was far beyond what we expected. She's put in her own software to make the system more efficient, and she's looking to get more funding so that she can get help and the line won't be so darn long. But that's what we did. And that's one of the many victories we've had. And those are the steps we took. But it all comes down to people and money. And it comes down to people like you who are passionate about the Second Amendment to go find those people and to go raise that money. Before San Diego County gun owners, I was running around to elected officials yelling my head off about the Second Amendment, and they all patted me on the forehead and said, there, that's cute, I get you. With 4,000 plus members and a 6-figure budget, now they have to pay attention to us or they will be replaced. So I encourage you all to get involved. Do a little bit more this year than you did last year. Do the things it takes to be effective. You know, you have families, you have jobs, you have responsibilities, we get that. But find organizations like San Diego County Gun Owners that makes activism easy. If you just come and sign up with us, if you read our emails and say, hey, I just want to help, a couple hours a month, something like that, it's going to be the most effective time you've spent on Second Amendment. And that's who we are and that's what we do. And I'm very, very proud of the leadership in our organization. I'm very, very proud of the members. Second to none, truly, truly. And I'm very happy that we partner with other Second Amendment organizations and fill the hole in the front line that we saw. We're not doing something or taking away from someone, we're not doing something that they're not doing or taking away from something that they are doing. We're doing something that wasn't being done before. And I believe that we're changing things legally by partnering with organizations to be a part of lawsuits like Firearms Policy Coalition and SAF, been wonderful to us. We're doing things at the election level by making sure that the right people get elected, and we're changing the culture with 22,000 people who are now carrying a permit, with over 10,000 people who we've taught to shoot for the very first time. That's changing the culture in San Diego, where the gun laws have been so bad for so long that we've lost a generation of gun owners. I'm meeting people that have made it to 40 years old who've never touched a gun before. In most parts of the country, that's weird. With 600 additional permits being issued every month, with people learning how to safely fire a gun, safely handle a gun, with women being able to get their permits so they can defend themselves, we're changing the culture. It's going to be weird to not have experience with a firearm, to not own a firearm, to not be able to defend yourself outside of the home. So thank you all very much, particularly the members. If you do want to get involved, we have a table outside. If you're not a member, please sign up. It's $10 a month or $100 per year. listen to Gun Owners Radio every Sunday night. Go to gunownersradio.com and help us, support us, get involved, be effective. And thank all the other folks for filing the lawsuits and educating us and doing what they do, and then brag about how much you've done in your spare time to make sure that the Second Amendment won't fade off into the night, not quietly. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you, Michael. Awesome stuff.